In the shadowed streets of Medellin, Colombia, an unassuming girl named Griselda Blanco began a journey that would redefine the international drug trade. Known by many as the Godmother of Cocaine, her name became synonymous with ruthless ambition, violent power struggles, and the deep, dark veins of the narcotics underworld. Her story unfolds in the glare of neon Miami nights and the cold halls of law enforcement, revealing a saga of crime that shocked the world and changed the face of the cocaine epidemic forever. The scene was set in the 1970s, when cocaine use in the United States was beginning to spiral from clandestine indulgence to large-scale commercial enterprise. Amid this market expansion, Griselda Blanco emerged not just as a player, but as a pioneering force, orchestrating massive cocaine shipments from Colombia across international borders. Her operations were unthinkable for a woman at the time, breaking through the male-dominated cartel scene with unmatched strategic cunning and a brutal enforcement style. Understand the immediacy of her impact. Picture Miami in the late 70s and early 80s, a city teetering on the brink of transformation. Traffic jams clogged streets with flashy, expensive cars bought with money laundered through drug sales. Neon lights buzzed over clubs where smugglers, enforcers, and money men mingled. Griselda Blanco's shipments came through this maze, hidden in everything from handbags to hollowed-out pipes, arriving in ever-growing quantities. Her organization pioneered routes that bypassed customs and law enforcement, making Miami the cocaine capital of the world. Behind these surface images, a terrifying pattern emerged. Violence was not just an occasional tool, it was an essential tactic. Identities were shredded in cold, calculated assassinations. Ruthless enforcers served as enforcers of discipline, eliminating rivals and betrayers without hesitation. Griselda's reputation was built on these brutal messages, instilling fear that secured her dominance. But what set her apart was a chilling intuition for preemptive strikes, unrelenting efficiency, and a network so vast that law enforcement agencies seemed always one step behind. Despite the obvious criminal activities, many initially dismissed the chaos as typical gang warfare or drug turf disputes inherent to cities like Miami. At first glance, widespread violence seemed disconnected from a single mastermind. Some believed that this drug explosion was driven purely by demand and street-level dealers rather than an organized empire. Others argued that women rarely held significant power in illicit trades, treating stories like Blanco's as exaggerations or anomalies. These misunderstandings allowed her empire to flourish in the shadows longer than it should have. The depth of Blanco's influence came into stark relief through numerous high-profile incidents. From hurricanes of gunfire on city streets to the chilling murder of her own husband, it was clear that her empire was marked by ruthless precision. Law enforcement officers documented dozens of hits tied back to her orders. Undercover operations revealed her meticulous control over drug routes spanning multiple continents. Witnesses testified about her icy resolve and unflinching desire to claim Miami as her domain. Each case file peeled back layers of her complex criminal apparatus, far beyond a simple drug dealer's tale. Historical context deepens our understanding. The 1980s were a volatile decade where lax border controls, burgeoning consumer appetites for illicit drugs, and systemic corruption created fertile ground for powerful cartels. Blanco capitalized on these conditions, harnessing advancements in transportation and communication to build a cross-border empire. Her story intersects with international politics and law enforcement challenges, reflecting a global struggle against narcotics trafficking. Some theories even suggest that alliances between governments and drug lords created uneasy truces, enabling empires like Blanco's to persist. Yet ultimately, her downfall came as increased coordination among agencies cracked the once impenetrable network. Today, the legacy of Griselda Blanco serves as a stark warning. It is a story about the dangers of unchecked ambition, the human cost of the drug trade, and the depths of violence behind the glamorized myth of cocaine. As viewers, it is essential to remember the real victims behind these headlines, the communities shattered, the lives lost, and the years of suffering born from a relentless pursuit of power. Stay vigilant against the allure of criminal glory. History shows its devastation is absolute. This analog broadcast was created not just to recount history, but to serve as an admonition. Remember the untold story of Griselda Blanco, the godmother of cocaine, and recognize the shadows cast when ambition knows no boundaries. The fight against this legacy continues, and awareness is a crucial weap.